Welcome, everybody. Happy New Year. Thank you for coming to our first Ask the Organizer of 2024 in our series. These are monthly workshops that our team offers the first Wednesday of each month on a different topic related to organizing. This month, we're talking about room refresh and how to refresh your spaces with what you already have in your home without having to break the bank. So I'm honored to introduce our guest speaker, who's our very own Andrea Thompson today. Andrea has over 40 years of experience in advertising, home staging, you name it. She has more creativity in her little pinky finger than I do in my whole being. So we're honored to have you share your wisdom with us today. Andrea, I'm going to kick it right over to you.
Thank you, Whitney. I'm honored that you're honored. We're excited about room refresh because it's a new year, but I look out the window and it's sort of drizzly and gray and depressing. And it just feels like it could be a nice time to freshen up a room that has been the same for months or years, to the point where you don't even see your decor when you walk into the room. It's just sort of there. So what a perfect time to spend a couple days just making it look fresh and new and different. But as Whitney said, without breaking the bank, without going out and buying new things. Jean, if you can pull up the PowerPoint, we can just dive right in and we'll talk about how we see room refreshes. And this is all about how to go from blah to beautiful, how to fall in love with your room again, how to enjoy being there, how to make it cozy for your family, how to make it work for you, how to make it organized and just a wonderful place to be. Next slide, please, Jean. You know what? I have to get all these faces out of the way because I can't see the PowerPoint. There we go. A room refresh is a creative way to wake up your room and give it a fresh look. As we said twice now, it uses decor and furniture you already own to make your room look new and different. It leaves your room uncluttered. It gives you better furniture placement and traffic flow. So if you have an end table that you've been knocking your shin on for the last 6 months, it's time to move that. The idea of a room refresh is to make your room look more attractive and livable, and to make everyone in it feel happier. Next slide, Jean. Thank you. And this is how you know you need a room refresh. Your room has looked the same way for months or years. You're bored with it, even if it looks fine. And that's the point I want to make. Your room doesn't have to be terrible to need a room refresh. It could look fine. But change is good. So think about that. And as I said, you keep bumping your shins on the furniture. You've been looking at the decor so long, you don't even see it anymore. And to test yourself on that, think about what's on your fireplace mantle or what's hanging behind your couch. And if you can't remember what's there, you've been looking at it for too long and it's time to switch it out. Another sign that you need a room refresh is you don't really feel comfortable entertaining in that room. And the last one, and probably the most important, is your room just doesn't make you happy. So that's how you know you need a room refresh. And this is how you do it. First, the best thing to do is just sit down in your room and look around and make a list of what you don't like and what you want to change. And then you just get up and you start doing it. The best place to start is with decluttering. And sometimes that's all you need to do. That's the most important step. If you get all the clutter out of the way, it'll suddenly look clean and fresh. But if that's not quite enough, look at the furniture placement. And if it isn't working, you can move things around. You can take pieces out. You can take pieces from another room just to kind of give it a slightly different feeling and to work on areas that maybe aren't working that well. Maybe your conversation area isn't all that warm and friendly. Maybe things need to be closer together. Maybe they need to be further apart. Maybe you need an end table because this chair doesn't have any place to set a drink. Things like that. So just look critically and then start just playing around. And once you've started doing that, you can also look in other rooms in your house and kind of shop around for decor and furniture that you might want to switch into that room. It's funny, if you take something out of your bedroom and put it in your living room, it suddenly looks new and fresh and different. So look around your house and see what you might want to repurpose and bring into your room. The next step is looking at your artwork. Maybe you have too much or too little. Maybe you're just not really seeing it anymore. So it would be a good time to kind of change it up, take something down, or take something from other rooms. And at this point, you move things around, maybe you tweak some furniture. Just take a few minutes to sit down and look at it and just see how it feels. Let yourself breathe in the space a little. And you'll probably want to get up and change a few more things. That's kind of how this process works. And you just tweak things until it looks right. And you can go and do a little online shopping if you need to. That's okay. We don't say you can't do any of that. So if you have an empty wall that could use a piece of art, go look for something that you love. And finally, invite your friends over and let them see what you've done. And we think you'll be very happy. So it's kind of simple. It's decluttering, it's furniture, it's moving around your decor, it's moving around your artwork a little bit, and maybe getting one or two new things just to make it look new and different. And that's it. Next slide. Okay, we want to give you a little before and after here, inspiration to, it's just stuff we've picked up off the web that we think could be inspirational. Next one, Jean. So you see the room on the left, it's actually very nice. It's very cozy. But it's a little, that having that big couch at the left is blocking the space. You don't really see that beautiful fireplace. So it would be nice to open that up as they've done. They've moved, they've done more than just refresh the room. They bought stuff, they painted, they did a lot of things. But just looking at the furniture placement, with the two couches, it suddenly opens up the space in a very nice way. And it looks just very inviting. I want to walk in, I want to sit on that couch, and I want to sit by that fire. And here's this sad bedroom, the before bedroom. And when you look at what they did for the after, yes, they did put wallpaper up. They only did one wall, which is nice. And it's kind of a simple project. But moving the bed made a huge difference in this space. It looks more intentional. They also added a curtain, a long curtain that goes down behind the bed and makes the window look much larger. It doesn't look like that sad prison window the way it does on the left. And they brought a little color into the room, which is nice. It's a nice throw there. They've got some turquoise sheets. So this one it's a very simple refresh, but I think it looks great. And this one, again, there's nothing wrong with the one on the left. It's pretty, it's cozy, it's got that nice blue color. The chairs look a little dated. They look a little small for that big shelving unit. So the people have moved a couch there instead, which the scale works better. They also painted the back of the bookshelves and taken decor. Some of it you can see in the before. It's also in the after, and they've very carefully sort of chosen a lot of blues to bring out the blue in the couch. And it all hangs together really nicely, I think. And there's that arrow in the back, which is fun and shows the personality of whoever lives there. It's just a nice way to, I think doing a bookshelf is probably one of the quickest, easiest ways to do a refresh in a house. So I love this one. I think both rooms are great, but I really love the after in this one. Next, Jean. And this one, again, they did more than just refresh. They put new tile on the fireplace and so on, but it just looks much more welcoming. They put in an ottoman that you can put your feet up on. There are nice rattan shades on the window that bring a lot of warmth in. And there's interesting decor on the mantle, as opposed to just all the little white vases that were there before. And there's a little splash of color in that pink pillow, and it just looks lively and fresh. Thank you. Yeah, this is really all about what you can do with paint. they painted out all the woodwork, which I know a lot of people think is heresy, but the woodwork kind of looks dated to me, and the the beams and stuff. And they rearranged furniture. They brought in a couch that's much more in scale with that fairly big fireplace hearth. And it just looks like it fits there. The two chairs on the left look kind of lost with that little table. So scale is really important in this one. And they brought in a piece of art to replace that very large break front that you see in the left picture, that gray or black, whatever it is. They pulled that out of the way. And they also have a nice focal point over the fireplace. That piece of art with the circles in it really kind of draws your eye into that whole space there, rather than being kind of a jumble of little things. So I think this room is really nice. And this one, I love both these rooms, but the one on the right is just, it's really kind of decluttered. They've taken out the busy rug. They've taken off the fussy little valance over the window, and they just hung some simple white curtains. They did paint, actually, they changed out the fireplace quite a bit. But the bookcase is very clean now. It's very organized. They have books put in backwards, which I think is horrible. But it does make kind of a neutral background. So I think this is really nice. They also added a coffee table, which I think every couch needs a coffee table. You need a place to put your feet, to put your coffee, to put your drink, your book, whatever. It's just a very welcoming space now. Next one, Jean. That was it. So, does anybody have any questions? Hi, everybody. I can see you now.
Andrea and I were talking recently about how kind of the holidays are a good time to do this. Like, at least in my apartment, it's so small. So I kind of had rearranged some furniture to fit like a Christmas tree. So whenever that tree comes down, there's just going to be this kind of big empty space. So kind of perfect time to shuffle things around. And maybe if you're already in there moving stuff, can try something new.
Great point, Kayla. Thank you. Jill?
Yeah, excuse me, I don't have a voice. Do you think that paint is really the big change? I have the world's ugliest fireplace that's been painted banana, and I've hated it all since I've had it. It's
Yeah,
solid, a solid brick wall with a tiny firebox. And I finally said I can't take it, and the fireplace doesn't work because all the smoke gets back into the house. So I thought, well, I think I'll put a faux electric stove in there and paint it. Well, it turns out I had to electrician come in to get the electricity to the fireplace. I mean, it just keeps snowball. But I'm just thinking, should I just paint that wall?
Oh, absolutely.
And I've been putting up pieces of paint colors all over it.
Yeah,
but it's a hard thing.
I think paint is one of the biggest transformations you could make for the least amount of money. You know, painting just one wall, it's 1 or 2 gallons of paint, and it can make a huge difference. The house that we lived in prior to this one had this really ugly red brick fireplace, and I painted it white, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm in love with this fireplace now. It was so much better. It just brightened up everything. Don't paint the firebox itself, but the walls, yeah, absolutely.
And I don't know what I'm going to do because that firebox is a waste, just a big black hole.
Yeah. You know, you could put candles in it.
I do. I put big cones and twinkle lights in there for
now. Oh, that sounds perfect.
But it's just that, but it's just big black. I don't know. I guess maybe if I paint it, it'll look a lot better. I've been trying to work on my living room, so this is a good time for this to come up. I'm not going to talk anymore.
Would it be strange to put a piece of artwork in the back of that box? Just an idea to throw out there.
You could also put a mirror back there.
Oh, I was thinking top.
Especially if you have twinkle lights in front of it.
Yeah,
if
that's
you
a
put twinkle lights around
that'd be
branches or
pretty.
something, it could just make it really
Right.
light and beautiful.
yeah, because it's, I mean, psychologically you want a fire, but I can't have one,
Yeah, yeah.
especially
Well,
on a day like today.
twinkle lights and candles are the next best thing.
My favorite thing, candles.
I
Okay,
love them.
okay, well, I mean, I feel like I have permission to do it. I just don't know what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
Well, I know-
I'm a believer in white brick. I love white brick. I think
There's
it's a
no
classic.
mantle, there's no mantle at all to break up that brick. It's
That's
just brick.
fine. That's fine. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing, Jill. And I know we're working on scheduling for after the new year with you. So perhaps Andrea could come along with Jess and give you some ideas when she
Oh, I'd
sees
love
your
to.
banana fireplace in person. Who else has
You know-
questions or thoughts? Let's see, we
I
have one in.
was, oh, sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
You know what I didn't notice is where do people put their televisions? Because none of these living rooms have a TV. And, if you don't have a large house that you can have a separate room for your television, it's a thing. Cause like my house, it's like I have no good place to put the TV. So that's why the living room is so awkward.
Living rooms are hard. If you can see over my shoulder, we have a giant
Mhm.
fireplace. And a lot of people
Mhm.
put their TVs over the fireplace, which I'm not a big fan of. So that
Right.
little cabinet on the right, actually it's the left. That's where our TV is,
Oh,
because I didn't
Yeah.
ever look at it when it's not on. TVs are hard to work with. They really are.
especially when they're big, so
Yeah.
that's like they delivered this enormous TV and I said, no, you have to take that back. It's too big. but I mean, to get just even a 65-inch television, if you have a fireplace configuration like a lot of those rooms and you don't want to put it over, because I agree, I don't like it over the fireplace, then you're stuck with your TV on one side of the room and your couch on the other, and it's just looks very clunky.
Yeah, it's hard to arrange the furniture, because you want the fireplace to be a focal point, but you also want to be able to watch TV.
Exactly.
It's difficult.
And
We had a room in our old house where we had the fireplace on one side. We put the TV on the opposite wall and then had two couches in between. So you could either sort of scoot yourself toward the fireplace to look at the fireplace, or scoot yourself toward the TV.
Right.
Whichever you're doing, but everybody's house is different. It's just a
And I
matter
had an opposite wall, but I took it out so to make the room bigger, and so now it's really a conundrum. So it's great
Yeah.
having the wall gone, but I'm like, I have nowhere to put furniture.
Yep, I feel your pain.
Those old houses.
Yes, we have a question in the chat from Juanita, and then we'll go to Jill.
Yes.
So Juanita has an underused couch that they'd like to change the fabric. Do we have recommendations on good places to shop for slip covers or a business that recovers?
That I don't have an answer on. I've only lived here for a couple of years, so I haven't had anything reupholstered or slip covered yet.
We can recommend Limbs Upholstery in Beaverton, and
There you
we
go.
can put that in the chat and in the follow-up email. But as far as slip covers, does anybody here have a resource?
Thanks, Whitney.
Yeah, you're welcome. Jill, do you have a question or comment to add?
I was going to make a comment that a lot of people are now using projectors and a screen that retracts instead of a television. I don't know how good they are. It's just a suggestion. I have no walls and I have no television. But I mean, you could even have it in front of a bookcase, the screen that pulls down.
That's a
Just
great
an
idea.
I will say that there are some really affordable, good projectors that give you really good quality if you have a blank wall, if you didn't want to have a screen come down. like, let's say you have a fireplace and you have white wall above it, you could certainly project onto there easily, and the quality is surprisingly good. I'll have to think of the name of it's a nebula. The one I have is a nebula, and it's very compact, and you would just basically put like a tiny little like floating wall shelf above your couch and then project onto the wall from there. So that's an excellent suggestion.
That's a great idea, Jess.
Yeah, especially for small spaces or where you don't want to have the ginormous TV there. Question for you, Andrea, going back to some of the examples you showed us where they had put the books backwards. Is that a thing? Can you talk to us a little bit more about that?
That is a thing. HGTV started doing that. Actually, I think Joanna Gaines started doing it because she liked the monochromatic look of, just the white pages. I think it's ridiculous, and I think it's an insult to anybody who actually reads. But
I agree.
people do it. Yes.
Or
People
the
do it
color.
because they want that monochromatic look. I don't know. I love having my books right there to choose from. And a lot of people do arrange their books in rainbow order, which I think is kind of funny if you're older than 4. But that's what some
I
people
do like the rainbow, but as someone with an organized mind that is slightly OCD, I have to go in size order personally.
Yeah. Size order is good. That's kind of what I go with. I have been known to take the dust jacket off a book if it's a little too bright for my taste, but I will not put my books backwards.
Well, we have a comment in the chat. Juanita saw the book look at an open house that was for sale, which masked what the sellers had on their shelf. So there's, I guess, a good reason to flip your books around if you're staging your house and you want to make it more neutral.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could see doing that we used to do that for staging, or we do only very artsy books, coffee table books, and not just paperbacks and all that. So.
I've seen a brand, back to the TV thing. I forgot the brand, but there's something called like the frame TV. I don't know if you've heard of that, Andrea, but it's
I
basically
have.
where you
They're
can
like,
hang it. Yeah,
yeah,
they're kind of interesting. I
they
think
are,
they're
but they're really expensive. They're like, I don't know, $7,000, but it's a TV, and when you're not watching TV, you can choose what artwork you want to show on the screen, and you can change the artwork whenever you want. So it just looks like a painting hanging over your mantle or wherever you have your TV, which is a really interesting idea. But I don't know, I can't see spending that kind of money on that.
Yeah, I've seen one. I think it was in one of my clients' homes, and I didn't even know it was a TV until they told me it was that like nice of an art piece.
Oh, I haven't seen one in real life yet.
Speaking of staging homes for sale, is this like something that could be translated into that?
Yeah, absolutely. When you're selling your home, I think the most important thing is to help people see how they could live in that home. So part of the most important thing to do is depersonalize it a little. Take out your family photographs, tuck them away while your home is for sale, and declutter as much as you can. Move out some furniture to make the space look a little bigger if you've got a lot of end tables or footstools or whatever. Just to make it a little sparer so people can see the room itself and not get hung up on, oh, I don't really like that couch, or that lamp isn't my style. You just kind of neutralize the room, and doing a room refresh for a staging is a good way to do it without having to bring stagers in and make it this big expensive thing with furniture rentals and all that.
I'm curious if anybody else has questions for Andrea, or maybe you have a personal room refresh design conundrum.
Nope.
And
I have a question.
Oh, go ahead, Jill. I can go after you.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm trying to find all the buttons I'm supposed to push. Dark rooms. I mean, it's hard to refresh a dark room where the windows are not placed in the proper place so that you don't get natural light.
Yeah,
properly.
yeah. It is,
Um,
you know, I'm sorry, go ahead, Jill.
It's been really hard for me I mean, working on my bedroom, which is dark. I guess a lot of people would like that. I would like some bright light in there.
Yeah.
I don't know how to make the dark corners not be so gray. No matter what color you paint, it's gray.
Yeah, it's, I think bringing in some small lamps with low wattage bulbs in them can help.
Huh?
Because they'll, and tuck them in a corner and just, I'm talking just 8 or 9 inch lamps, just very small things, just to kind of brighten up a corner. A couple extra lamps can help a lot in a dark room.
Okay. Thank you.
I know that sounds pretty basic, but yeah, dark rooms are a challenge.
I do have a quick addition to that with lighting. I personally have Amazon smart light bulbs, and they allow you to change the light from warm light to bright light to soft white, and it actually can make a really big difference in the lighting in a room. So just think about adding some extra either floor lamps or table lamps, and consider using special bulbs like that that allow you to control the color and the warmth of the light in the room. It makes a really big difference.
That's a great point, Jess.
Sort of a question. So I have been a renter most of my life and have not owned a home. And so with that, I sometimes feel like I have pretty sparse decorations. And like right now you can see I have like walls that kind of have a cabin feel to it. So I'm really like hesitant to put things up, but I also want to add things. But I'm also very mindful of what I bring in. So I don't want to just bring anything. So I'm struggling with how to find that right like piece without just shopping to shop, I guess, and like how to know what I'm looking. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know what your style is?
Well, I would say like I mean definitely a minimalist if that's a style, but not white wall minimalist. I really like a boho. Look, I have a ton of plants. So huge on plants and big on like pillows, but I don't have a ton of like art up.
Yeah.
But I do like color. Like I have big colorful rugs. So I'd say
Mhm.
kind of like bohemian plants. Yeah.
Yeah, I can picture that. Yeah, I think it's a matter of just waiting until you see something that you really love and that really speaks to you, and then buying judiciously and slowly. You don't have to just run out and get something because you have an empty wall. But when you see something that really kind of touches your heart or just somehow works for you, then you know it's right.
Okay. Yeah. I feel that way with furniture too. I know I want to change, but I'm like, I'm not sure what, and I don't just want to buy something to buy it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. You can also look for inspiration, go on Pinterest and see what other people are doing, and you may just find something that inspires you and you think, oh yeah, something like that could work. I spent a lot of time looking at design sites and writing about it.
Andrea has also created 5 lookbooks for our clients, and one of them is called Boho Chic.
Oh,
If people don't know their style, or if you're trying to get inspiration for something related to your style, Andrea has already curated some lookbooks with links to products and different ideas for people. And we don't use affiliate links. We don't benefit in any way. It's really just to help people find their design style and voice. So those could be a resource as well.
oh, that's fun. Where do I get will you put those in the notes or?
We haven't launched them yet.
Oh, okay.
They'll be
But
coming
but
soon.
when we will, you'll believe
Coming
me, you'll know
soon.
all about it.
That's fun. Perfect.
Oh, I like Karen's idea. Angie, she dropped in the chat, a textile macrame or rug could look nice on your wall and easier to store. That is a great idea, especially for a boho
Yeah,
look.
I like macrame. I do like those.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, there are a lot of really interesting sort of wall, almost mobiles now that they're kind of kinetic and very textury and stuff. There's a lot of interesting things out there right now. You know what? You should get our boho book. There's stuff in there that I think you would like. We have a section on wall decor.
Oh, fun. Okay.
There
That's
was some.
actually also my style is, you know, boho and boho chic. And I laugh all the time when something new comes into my home because I'm like, oh my God, is that going to match? But there's every color in the rainbow in my house and everything matches. And that's the beauty of it. So you can wait until you see something you truly love and bring it in. Like everything doesn't always have to be matchy matchy. It just has to make you feel good.
Yeah, that's what's great about boho. You know, it's just it's kind of a courageous style because you can think, whoa, really? I'm gonna get this at the thrift shop and I'm gonna put it next to that. And like, yeah, do it. It'll work.
Yeah, that sounds fun. I love thinking about that. I'm like, oh, that sounds fun.
Yeah, thrift shops, flea markets, places like that, you know, as opposed to going to Restoration Hardware, Pottery Barn, you know, just go to those other places. And Portland has so many good places to look for stuff. Urbanite PDX is one place. There are just so many great thrift shops.
Well, and I don't know if anyone else feels this way, but I'm very tactile. And so it's hard. Like I can get an idea online, but then I don't want to order things online because I've had it where it comes. I'm like, that's not the feel I want. It's not the fabric. Like
Yeah.
I want it to be a feeling instead of just an object to fill up space.
Exactly. You should check out City Home too.
Oh, I haven't heard of that. Okay. I've heard of
They're
Urban.
great. Yeah, Urbanite PDX and City Home is one of my favorite design shops in the city. They also have City Home Outlet,
Ooh.
but it's like right next door or across the street or something. Check them out. They've got really fun stuff.
Oh, fun. Okay.
Can you tell us a little bit about other styles besides bohos? Maybe if we don't know what our style is, it might be helpful just to know maybe a little bit. The
Well,
elements that
sure. I mean, there are lots of different styles. We focused on 5 different styles. Modern farmhouse, which is kind of the Chip and Joanna look. We've focused on traditional. We've okay, you might have to help me with the other. Let's see, we did modern minimalist, which is my house. Let's see, farmhouse, boho chic, traditional, modern. There's one more.
oh, look at
All I can think of is contemporary.
Would it be Scandi?
Yeah.
Would it be Scandi?
Now, Scandy's kind of part of the modern minimalist
Oh,
one.
oh gosh.
You know, I spent a lot of time writing these. You think I'd remember, you know, and I'm going to look it up. Hang on one second.
And if you want to pull one up, or we could have Jane share one too, if you wanted to share some design ideas, or if folks have other questions, feel free to jump in too.
Sure. Oh, coastal style, of course. Everybody loves a beach bungalow. Yeah, if we want to look at one, should we take, no, let's see. Jean, can you pull up, let's look at boho.
Oh.
Since Angie expressed it.
It's in Canva right now, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And Jess, thank you so much. Jess shared a link in the chat of, it looks like a style quiz on how to find the style that's you. or how to find your style. What's your advice on different rooms? Should they have something that ties them all together, or would it be horrible to have different styles in different rooms?
It can be a little jarring to have, you know, a very traditional living room and then walk into a super modern bedroom. I think most people just by nature, you know, they've got a style that they feel comfortable with, so it kind of does flow throughout their homes. You can mix up a little, like you could take a modern house and put in some vintage things and it will look great. But I think doing a super traditional living room with a completely different style in every other room is going to be a little disconcerting as you walk from room to room.
But if you want to have a different feel from room to room, you can follow the same style and bring in different colors. Like for me, my living room and my dining room are bright, 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 bright colors. And it's the same kind of style of decor in my bedroom, but they're more muted, softer colors.
Yeah.
So, you know, color, I think, plays a big part in design, a big, big part,
Yeah.
and the feel of each room.
It definitely does. My living room is very neutral. And we've got a second kind of family room downstairs that is also neutral, but it has a lot of orange in it. It's got some mustard in there, a lot of plants. It's got a lot of travel things that I've collected over the years. So it's much more boho, but still kind of modern. So they work together, but they're not carbon copies of each other.
Jill?
Is eclectic the same as boho? I have very modern, well, mid-century modern, true, from my in-laws. And then I have Victorian, and I have 30s, and I have them mixed together because that's what I have.
Yeah,
Would that be boho, or would that be just plain eclectic?
I think that's plain eclectic. It's mixing different eras, which can play well together. They really can. Boho is a little more, you know, there are ethnic elements and it's more textury, usually with sort of a little rough around the edges, pottery and things like that, and macrame, different, you know, very rough textures and textiles and things. Eclectic is really fun though. If you take mid-century modern and put it with something with very modern, but there's also a little Victorian in there. It's just kind of a worldly way to decorate. And I think eclectic is really fun and it shows a lot of personality.
I did have a question for you when you're working in clients' homes. So
Mhm.
I'm an organizer as well. And so when I go into clients' homes and if the client says, you know, something's not working and you can kind of feel that it's not working too, like something just seems off, how do you approach that from again, I don't do a lot of interior design, but you can just tell something's very off and the client feels it. How do you kind of approach that? Or yeah.
It depends on the client. You know, if the client doesn't feel like something's off, I wouldn't touch a thing. It's not
Okay.
my home, it's their home. And if they're happy with it, then that is absolutely fine. If I were staging a home, I might be a little more vocal about changing things. But if it's their own home, if they do have a problem with it and they mention it, if I have something that I think might work, I will bring that up and say, well, what if you move the couch over here? Or what if you consolidated your pictures into one space so they don't look so cluttered all around the room? I would just offer some suggestions and you know, everybody's home is unique to themselves, and I don't ever want to push my ideas on somebody if they're not comfortable with it. But if they ask, yeah, I'll definitely offer an opinion.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like I found that people do kind of they say this isn't working and you know, of course, look at like yeah, kind of decluttering, but what there's definitely some things with style sometimes that I think even yeah, just rearranging or a room
Yeah.
refresh would be
Yeah.
helpful.
Yeah.
Anybody who we haven't heard from today, does anybody have a question or a comment that they'd like to share? Okay, just wanted to open it up for people who might be a little less likely to jump in.
And while Whitney's pulling that up, you can actually mix styles a little bit within a room. You know, if your style is really modern minimalist, but there's also a little boho in you, you can bring some of that into the room. You know, it doesn't, you don't just have to be traditional or have to be boho or have to be coastal or whatever. You can, you know, your room should make you happy. And if something makes you happy, bring it in and it'll work for you.
No?
Your dog makes me happy, Andrea. What kind of dog?
The
I
fact
like
that
you
she's
listening
actually
to you.
quiet makes me happy.
Sorry, it downloaded them all as separate PDFs, so let me give this another go, and sorry, please talk amongst yourselves, and sorry that I didn't think about preparing this ahead of time.
I'm gonna ask, does anyone have an attractive way to have a cat box?
Oh,
Cat boxes are tough.
I know. I forgot when I adopted the cat that we need a cat box, so.
Yeah.
I
we-
have a top entry cat box, which looks better than just having an open bin of dirty litter. It's not perfectly ideal, but I'm pretty sure that they sell pieces of furniture like end tables and things like that that have side entries for pets. They do it for like dog kennels and things like that. I'm pretty sure you could repurpose something like that for
Yeah, they do.
kitty.
We don't have cats right now. When we did, we used to keep our cat box in the guest room bathtub. And
Yeah.
then nobody looked at it because nobody ever went in there except the cat. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
pet
That's it.
paraphernalia is a challenge.
Yeah. What was I thinking? I didn't realize a dog is so much easier.
Oh,
Hey,
no.
cats are amazing and wonderful, and we love them, and we will have them as our masters forever.
Yes, that is
I've
true.
always
They will.
I've always had cats and dogs, but this one is unbelievably attention seeking.
Oh, oh, that's the best kind. Better than a cat who doesn't want to have anything to do with you.
I'd almost rather. I think she
No.
doesn't. I think she wants me out of the house. Gotta have the place to herself. Okay, well, I've been looking at even dressers with doors that open up, thinking I can fill a hole in the side of it.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think that the hard part is, you know, it's got to be easy to access so you can scoop it out.
Yeah, I
Oh,
would do a quick Google search for like a dog kennel end table. And you might find your way to something that you could repurpose for that.
yeah. Well, I know there are cat litter boxes that are, you know, made as furniture. But Jess, you're right. If you Google it, see what you come up with. There is some stuff out there. Okay, so this is one of our 5 lookbooks. This is coastal style. We're not going to go through it in any detail. It's just some inspiration on what the coastal style is and how you can turn your home into something that just feels kind of beachy and breezy and fresh. And these are pillows that if they interest you, you can click on them and buy them. And we have several pages of design in each of these lookbooks where you can, if not buy, at least get inspired by some of these things. These were fun to shop for. And look, you can buy books in your color theme. And there's all kinds of artwork out there. And one of our favorite categories, of course, is storage, because we're all about being organized here.
But maybe let's put a note about not buying containers before we know what we're keeping.
Yes, this is true.
Like,
Yeah.
anyone like to speak to that?
No, that's true. It's, we've gone into many houses where people have gone to Target or container store and bought all kinds of baskets, and they just don't work for the space or the amount of stuff. So it's really important to right size your stuff first, see how much you have left and where you want to put it before you go to the container store.
Right, and you run the risk of going and buying, medium to larger size containers. You're like, this is going to be perfect for XYZ. And you don't have that much of XYZ. And then it gives you this little inkling in the back of your head that you can acquire more stuff, which is
Right.
not the goal.
I'm gonna fill up these boxes.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and also I found that sometimes with storage, people, myself included, I see something very pretty, but it may not be functional.
Yeah.
Sometimes like round storage units, like they don't work for things, so they'll get them home and they don't even work at all. But they're like, but it's so pretty, but there's
Yeah.
nowhere to put it. So
Yeah.
it does add more clutter sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny how the stuff that's supposed to contain your stuff just makes more mess. And we have little inspiration rooms here. Go to the next page. And we have some tips that we've gathered from various places. And also some resources on places to find stuff that you might like. Or we can do the shopping for you if you really don't want to do it. So that is one of our lookbooks. We have 5 of them. That is the dog that you see on the couch back there. That is my dog. There she is again with one of my kids.
Thank you for putting this together for us, Andrea, and these will be coming soon for folks. Did you want us to go back to your PowerPoint? I think you had a couple more slides.
Yeah, we have a couple more slides.
If
Yeah.
anybody has questions or comments, please feel free to jump in.
Yeah. All right. If nobody has any questions, this is our shameless plug for ourselves. As you might expect, we actually do room refreshes. And if this is something that you don't really want to take on yourself, we would absolutely be honored to do it with you. They're fun projects, they're quick, and they can really make a difference. And if you happen to be moving, we can also stage your house to just make it look much more appealing to buyers. And that is all I have to say, unless anybody has questions. And that's all of us here.
I love that idea. Sorry. That you can stage a house with people's own stuff to get it ready for being for sale. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, it's amazing what you can do to make a house look better when you put it up for sale.
Yeah, because I mean, I advise people to do that, but having a professional come in and say, "Here, this is what we need to get rid of, and this is what we can use," and just, yeah, I think that'd be fantastic.
Yeah,
and a lot cheaper than hauling and staging stuff.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Staging is so, I was shocked when I joined a staging company at how much they make doing that. I thought, oh, maybe I'll do that. But it also helps to have a neutral party come in and say, I know you love your pictures of your grandchildren, but the buyers who are coming in here, they don't know those kids, so we should tuck those away for now. So it's but you really can make a huge difference with a one-day staging to make a house look just really sparkle.
Awesome.
Hey, Whitney, what's that in your hand? Are you putting something away? Is that paper around something?
It was a wine glass that I was wrapping.
Oh, okay. putting it away.
Yes. You might recognize the background of our recent photo shoot. Thank you, Andrea, for hosting our team and letting us do the shoot
Sure.
there. Our website will be coming probably in the next couple of weeks, our new website. So we're excited that we've got some new pictures for that. So here's a sneak peek for you.
And I'll just throw this in. Andrea's home is stunning. So she is certainly somebody I would take advice from on a room refresh or staging or even a redesign. It's absolutely beautiful.
Oh, you're so kind.
We'll go ahead and start sharing the screen, and we will send out a follow-up email with the resources that were mentioned today. But before we go, does anybody have any last questions or thoughts about refreshing your room? So next month on February 7th. Sorry, go ahead, Jill.
Just a quick one. Where can I find LED light bulbs that are not blinding me? I'm 40-watt, normal 40-watt bulbs are what I enjoy, 60 max, but all the LEDs are just glaring. Is there a place I can buy decent, true light instead of blue light?
I'm
LED.
telling you, the Amazon smart bulbs are the way to go for me because I like to be able, even at my desk, sometimes I want bright light if I'm reading something. And sometimes if I'm just kind of doing stuff on the computer, I want warmer light. You can go into the app and actually change the type of light. And it's a huge thing for me. Like, I absolutely love them. I know it sounds silly, they're light bulbs, but being able to change the brightness, you can change it from, 10% to 100%, warm light to soft light to bright light to daytime light. They're really pretty awesome.
Oh,
So
I need to
they're called
look
smart
into
light.
those. That sounds great.
Amazon smart bulbs.
Amazon smart bulbs. Okay,
And we'll put a link to it in the follow-up email too, Jill.
thank you.
One little point I forgot to mention, we also do virtual room refreshes. If you want to send us pictures, we will, and a video, we'll take a look. Just let us know what you like, what you don't like, what your goals are, and we can work back and forth that way.
Nice. So you don't necessarily need to be in the Portland metro area too, which is nice.
Exactly. You can be anywhere.
Because I've drawn up all the plans for my rooms and measured all the furniture, figured out where it will go, but I don't know if it's a realistic, I'm trying to figure out, is that going to be 3 feet to walk around the desk or whatever?
Well, we'd be happy to take a look at your plans, Jill, and assist with that. And in fact, for those who are here today or those who watch the recording, we're offering $50 off on your room refresh consultation between now and Valentine's Day. So just let us know that you were here or you watched this afterwards, and we'd be happy to share that special offer with you. And thank you so much, Andrea, for sharing your wisdom and experience with us and your creativity today.
Thank you for your questions. I appreciate that.
Next month on February 7th from 4 to 5 p.m., we're going to have our special guest, Angie Freyer, who's actually here today, and she's going to talk about organizing through grief. So how do you organize when you've lost a loved one? And Angie, is there anything that you'd like to say today about the topic coming up next month?
I don't think so. I mean, I've just started doing these Ask the Organizer forums, and so I think I'm really looking forward to talking with people. This is a new niche that I've kind of started to develop. So I'm really excited to share some knowledge that I have and hopefully answer any of your questions.
Wonderful. Well, thanks so much, everybody. I hope you have a wonderful evening, and thanks for kicking off the new year with us. Appreciate it.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye,
Have a great
everyone.
evening.
Thank you, Andrea. That was great. That was fun.
Oh, it's really great.
Yeah.
Fun.
Your home is gorgeous. I can tell.
Your
I've
home is
already
gorgeous.